Why JFK's casket stayed closed. When President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas on November 22, 1963, America went into shock. But what happened after the shooting, inside hospitals, hallways, and airplanes, became one of the most chaotic, controversial moments in U.S. history, and it's the reason his casket would never again be opened. At Parkland Memorial Hospital, doctors tried desperately to save him. But the gunshot wound to his head was massive, the back of his skull was gone, and there was no chance of survival. When he was pronounced dead, Dallas officials insisted the president's body stay in Texas for an official autopsy, standard procedure in a murder case. But the Secret Service had other plans. Jacqueline Kennedy, still covered in her husband's blood, refused to leave him behind. Agents forced their way out of the hospital with his body, breaking Texas law in the process, and loaded him into a heavy bronze casket purchased on the spot from a local funeral home, a coffin that would never make it to the burial. It was damaged during loading on Air Force One. When Air Force One landed in Washington, the president's body was taken to Bethesda Naval Hospital. There, the Dallas coffin was found to be too damaged, its lining soaked in blood from the violent head wound. His body was quietly transferred into a new, hermetically sealed mahogany casket, the one the public would later see draped in the American flag. But even at Bethesda, there was more turmoil. Dallas doctors had seen a large exit wound in the back of Kennedy's head, but the Bethesda autopsy team described it differently. The two reports didn't fully match, fueling decades of conspiracy theories about what was real, what was covered up, and what was simply too gruesome to describe. Jacqueline Kennedy and Robert Kennedy made the final call. There would be no open casket viewing. The head wounds were too severe, and no amount of reconstruction could hide the destruction. They wanted the public to remember his face as it had been in life, not what had been done to him. When hundreds of thousands of Americans filed past his flag-covered casket in the Capitol Rotunda, none saw his body. Only a few, the doctors, his brother, and his wife, ever did. In the end, the casket stayed closed not out of secrecy, but mercy. Behind that bronze lid lay the chaos of Dallas, the confusion of two autopsies, and the image of a young president violently taken from the world. And so, history chose not to show us what it could never unsee.